Now another sports center, it's a movement.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, yours truly. And I have my co-host with me here today. What's going on, Mr. Mike Williams?
How you doing, Doug? Glad to be back, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to have you back, my good friend. And today we're going to get into some Minnesota Vikings. That's a terrible Minnesota accent. Please don't kill me. Please don't throw snowballs at me. But it's okay because we'll get into some controversy. Now, today I was on Facebook in one of the Minnesota Vikings Skull fan groups. And, there seems to be a divided fan base over Kirk Cousins. Now, please know that as I touch this, a lot of people, I feel you through the screen monitor, your blood pressure is already boiling. But let's get into the meat and potatoes and why you clicked on the thumbnail, okay? So I want to take and talk about Mr. Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. And Kirk Cousins, there was a reason. I mean, at times he looks like the best thing quarterback in the NFL. And at times he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But he puts up really good numbers, but he's very Phillip Rivers. I can't even say 2.0. He's just very Phillip Rivers-esque. But I got my co-host Mike Williams with me here today, and we're going to get into it. And if Kellen Mond is the truth, if Kellen Mond is the answer for possibly replacing Kirk Cousins, Mike, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, man. So I like Kellen Mond coming out of college, like seeing some of the stuff he did. His accuracy improved a lot during college. A couple of things, like I think he has potential, but a couple of concerns like that almost always translate from college to the pros. He only completed like 59% of his passes for his career. Now his senior year and stuff like that, he was over 60%, but he has arm talent. I think he's athletic enough to move the pocket. He's not going to be like a Lamar Jackson by any means, but he has the athleticism to move the pocket, has a solid arm. I think the thing for him is kind of putting it together, like be willing to take some risks, because he was like a point guard in college. You know, he protects the ball pretty well. That's something I definitely like when I was looking at everything and seeing some games he has. He protects the ball pretty well, but I feel like he'll be a slight upgrade if he hits his potential to Kirk Cousins. But I don't think he'll be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he has the potential to hit that range. And I feel like Vikings fans are like, man, we really need to have a guy that's going to be kind of get us over the hump, get us to that next level. And I think Kellen Mond, definitely has the potential to be. Worst case scenario, a long-term, very, very good backup. Best case scenario, I think he could definitely be a good point guard on the team, a kind of game manager. But it just really depends on the system and how he's going to develop. So I like Kellen Mond, man. I just really am interested to see how they develop him because nobody likes Kirk Cousins. It feels like, man, like didn't like him in Washington. The Vikings fans don't like him. So I feel like he's a stopgap. He's going to get his money. He's going to he'll throw up some stats, but he's not going to really win a game. And I don't know if Kellen Mond can really win a game because I didn't see it too much, but I think he has the potential to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And plus with that receiver they got last year in the draft, name here. Jefferson, man, that guy. I'm going to make a bold statement real quickly. I think he'll be a top 7 wide receiver in the National Football League next year. And I feel like whenever they put pressure on Kirk Cousins, I'll just say he does do expectedly good. He did win his first playoff game not too long ago. Dalvin Cook is a top 3, top 5 running back in the league. I mean, there's a lot. And then I got to say, they had a top 2, top 3 best draft in the National Football League. And when you're in a division with the Detroit Lions backers, and obviously Aaron Rodgers, a lot of stuff, but even without Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be a very good team. You got to stay up with the times, and they're doing that. And in my opinion, the Minnesota Vikings are going above and beyond. But you bring up some valid points. How was the transition? Because you could put up all the stats in the world, but if you look at guys like Brandon Weeden, who played for Oklahoma State many years ago, that guy was like one of the greatest college quarterbacks to ever do it, but that didn't translate. Tim Tebow, same thing. That didn't translate, so, and we could go down the list of how things didn't translate for a lot of college quarterbacks. It's not easy making that transition. What would you say are some pros about Kellen Mond that maybe Kirk Cousins doesn't necessarily have?
I think the biggest thing that stands out, like I said, is athleticism. Like I said, he's not like a scrambling quarterback per se, but he can definitely, if you've seen some of the games they had, he can move the pocket. He does pretty well. I think he just trusts receivers a little bit. Like a lot of young quarterbacks, we know, like they'll lock onto receiver stuff like that. So I think that can be coached out. But I really love his athleticism. He's a smart quarterback. He processes things fairly well. I just think he'll have to speed that stuff up. So again, having a young quarterback with the experience he has, he has a good amount of experience starting in college. I think he could definitely take the leap. There's no way possible he won't make the 53-man roster, in my opinion. Because if they tried to put him on the practice squad, I don't think he'd clear waivers. Somebody would, put him on their active roster. So again, I think he'll definitely be in a position to take some of those reps, when they're resting Kirk Cousins with some of the first team players. Like I said, I think worst case, he could be a good backup. Worst case, he'd be like one of the top 3 backups in the league, absolute worst case. But I think he could really develop, man, especially with the athleticism. And that offense is pretty much a branch of the Mike Shanahan offense. And I think that offense he could do well in. I think that is probably the best system for him with his skill set, you know what I'm saying? Because he definitely can get the ball out. He has a very solid arm. He can make all the throws. It's just, he just has to make the leap. He was a 3rd-round pick for a reason,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mike, thank you so much for breaking that down. Minnesota fans, I'm going to say this, and on this note, the sky's the limit for y'all. I mean, I know the NFC is there's a lot of open spots, not as like the AFC where it's like it's super competitive, but it's the Minnesota Vikings could easily take and win with their roster right now. They can win 11, 12 games this year. They can win 11, 12 games, and probably most of their losses will probably come within the division, but because it's extremely competitive. But great things are happening for the Minnesota Vikings. But anywho, Mike Williams, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I truly appreciate it. And for all you guys, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you love this content, please know I cover the whole entire NFL, not just the Minnesota Vikings, but I oftentimes bring in NFL interviews. I always try to keep it interesting for you guys. Go drop a comment. Let us know if you agree with us. If you agree with Mike, disagree with Mike, whatever it may be, let us know down below. Drop a like, drop a comment, hit that bell, and I'll catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith. Peace.
Now another sports center, it's a movement.